I had the feeling you're a very confident person from I would say 3 minute meeting at Soul Mama.
Oh,
Yeah?
yeah.
Welcome, audience. Welcome to Black Economics TV. We have with us today Jyotsna. She is a coach. She will solve issues that have been bothering you, and she will encourage you, she will guide you, and she's here to share her wisdom with us today. So thank you, Jyotsna, for joining us.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and I'm excited.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. So, tell us about yourself. Tell us about what you do, first of all, and how you are positively impacting people.
Okay, great. So, I am a coach, as you said, and I'm also a rapid transformational therapist. And what I do is I combine coaching with therapeutic modalities and practices. And I find that this kind of approach gives the best results and really deep results to my clients. I retrained 3 years ago, and there's a personal story behind that. And coaching and therapy really changed my life, especially rapid transformational therapy, really changed my life. My confidence increased, my relationships got better, I started to make more money. And I thought that this is something that I want to share with others. And so I decided to retrain and help transform other people's lives who might be feeling stuck despite what they have.
So you said you retrained. Retrained from what? What did you do before this?
So I had a 17-year-old career in advertising agencies. So I worked with some big names within the ad agency world, client side as well, like Deloitte, Accenture, etc. And that was really what helped me establish myself in the UK because I migrated, I think, more than 20, almost 20 years ago. And so when I became a mother, I was looking at an alternative career, which was more purpose driven and impact driven. But back then, I didn't know what it was. And during COVID, one thing led to the other. And I came across personal development because I was part of a very elite fitness coaching program where mindset was a huge part. And that's kind of, what sparked off my journey of personal development. And I came across the therapy methods and that just changed my life. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's fascinating. Is it that you wanted a change from your job? Were you fed up of it after 17 years?
It wasn't that I was fed up, but it was that feeling, which I'm sure many of the audiences will relate to, is that feeling of there is something more for me. I wasn't born to do this for the rest of my life. And that's the question I was thinking every single day. And especially when you've been in a career for that long, you can do it with your eyes closed. And I also realized that I didn't have any ambition of going further up leveling in that career. And there was a cap, there was a ceiling to that as well, how far you can go. And I was thinking that is this what I'll be doing for the next 20, 30 years? And the answer was a resounding no. It was very much a stepping stone to, as I said, establishing myself in the UK, having a good career, a family, etc. But I think once I became a mum, it became really apparent to me that there was a bigger calling. And that's why I decided to retrain. And anyone who's made the transition from a corporate career to business, it is a big jolt to your system. It is a big change because there's no paycheck coming in and you have to kind of create money. So it wasn't, this decision, needed consideration. And so I've done that transition as well. And my job actually helped me so that I could invest in myself and in my business. So I'm very grateful for that and something I would recommend to the audience. If you're somebody at that stage where, you're like, okay, I have a salary or I have a job and this pays me, but it's not fulfilling me. There's something more. Hang on there, because it is serving a purpose in your life right now, but that might change. So use that job or whatever career that you're in as an opportunity, as a leverage to go to that next step and don't have this feeling, oh my God, I'm stuck. You're simply upgrading as you're evolving as an individual.
Okay, great. Wonderful. So you mentioned children. How many children do you have?
I have one child. I have a boy. He's 8 year old and very energetic, and I'm very blessed to have him.
Oh, well, congratulations. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay. So tell me about your background. Let's go back to sort of childhood education and so on. How have you come to this space? Tell us about your journey.
Okay, so I was born in India, in a small town near New Delhi, and that's where I did my early schooling and university as well. And like many Indian girls, I had an arranged marriage, which unfortunately then didn't work out. I moved away to Europe for a brief period in my life. And that was a good change for me to migrate to a different space and learn about different cultures. But I think the relationship I was in wasn't quite working, and so really that was the defining point where I after finishing my schooling education, moving to a new country, I realized that I wasn't cut out for what millions of population in India do, which is arranged marriages. It became very apparent to me that it wasn't for me and it wasn't working. And so I transitioned out of that as well. And then I was at a crossroads of deciding what I want to do next. And what you're looking for is looking for you. If you're looking for an opportunity, it presents itself to you. And I guess the stars were aligned and there was an opportunity to come to the UK as a student. And so it was very much restarting my life, walking out of an arranged marriage, which wasn't easy because if you know anything about the cultural attitudes in South Asian communities, there was a lot of shame involved. And I didn't feel like I belonged there after that experience. So it was really important for me to create my own independence and build my life. And so there was an opportunity to study in the UK. I took that opportunity. I did really well at the university. I got myself a job, and rest is history, really. I met my husband here, and I ended up staying here, making it my sort of home.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, from time to time, there's information in the press around arranged marriages, and I would imagine that a lot of them work, but there will be many that don't. Was this something that you kind of knew was going to happen as you were growing up, and you were happy to go into it and try it, or were you sort of against it from the beginning?
So, this is a really good question because I talk a lot about mental conditioning in my work. And growing up in that culture, in that environment, for me, there was no options, there was no choices. It was a given. You're kind of born into it. Of course, you're Indian, you're a girl, you're going to have an arranged marriage. So, there was no choice around it. But did it feel comfortable? No, I don't think any Indian girl who's out there will say that it feels comfortable. But yet, there is this silent agreement, a contract that, that's the way things roll. So yeah, I guess. And also, I remember, and this is going back many, many years. I the development stage India has had a lot of boom since the open door economy and the open door policy and globalization. But when I was growing up there, it hadn't quite happened. And so my worldview was quite narrow, and we were very naive almost and very innocent. We didn't really know of what was going around. So yeah, it was very much like a tunnel vision. This is life. This is what everyone does. This is what you do. And that was pretty much it.
So, in terms of the fallout, when you decided you didn't want the marriage anymore, Has that all been resolved now? Is the family sort of comfortable with where you are and understand why you did what you did? Or are there some people still not talking to you?
Well, again, that's a great question. So it was resolved eventually. It wasn't an easy path, but it was resolved eventually. My father, unfortunately, is no more and lost into cancer, but that part is set. And I think there was a lot of resistance, obviously, when I decided to take matters into my own hands and also leave. There's a bit of a backstory around that as well. It wasn't an easy separation. There was a lot of stuff involved there. But I think once I came over to the UK and within like 3 years, I started to create a solid base for myself. Um, I think it became very apparent that I was on the right track. And it might not have been the path that many women in India take, but just because it wasn't a familiar path didn't mean that it was the wrong one. So eventually, all of that people came around. And also, when you earn your own money and when you have your own independence, you're really in charge of your life. So I think that was another unlearning and becoming of me is to hold my own. Because prior to that, I was the good girl. I was the good daughter, the good wife, and I just followed what was asked of me, and I didn't question anything. And obviously, that leads to resentment and feeling of helplessness and all of that, which I went through. But once I had my independence, I think I also worked on me starting to not care about everyone, but not in a bad way. It's like those, we all have people pleasing tendencies. And so, we say that you play the only role you know until the role becomes your own. And so I was playing that role of a good daughter, a good student, good girl all the time. And then, so it was really like coming on my own and finding myself. And that made it easy that if they wanted to come along with my journey, great. If they supported me, great. But if they didn't, I had created that independence for myself as well.
Well, that's great because then that meant you developed your own confidence. You started to put yourself first
Yeah.
and you worked out what was going to make you happy in the long run. So good for you. I would imagine that while you're doing coaching, sometimes you're asked about relationships, man, wife, um, boyfriend, girlfriend. Are you doing relationship coaching or business coaching or life coaching or a bit of everything?
So, if you were to put those labels on, I would fall more in the life coaching and personal transformation, personal success. And I do advise on business as well because I have a lot of knowledge around my business. But that's what it is. And the main thing is that I have worked with a very variety of people, as you do when you're starting out. And I work predominantly with women, less with men, but the issues I kind of solve have been very similar. So if it's let's say your mid 40s women, they're usually going through transition in their life, high performing, like me, people pleasing, boundaries, holding it all together, being the strong one, but also having big dreams. But also women in later stages in life where they might be a little bit thinking, okay, I need to reinvent myself. I've done things a certain way and I need to reinvent how I do things, more confidence, more visibility, more money, whatever that looks like for you. And then in my when I started, I had a lot of, people in their late 20s, mid 30s as well, who were kind of just in general looking for direction as to where they want to go. But my work is the intersection of confidence, self-leadership, and really coming home to yourself and owning all those parts of you and really resolving those unresolved parts that might be coming from your mental conditioning and holding you back from moving to that next level. So essentially, I love helping those people who are at a point where they're like, okay, I'm here and I need to break free. I'm ready for the next level, but I don't know how to get there. And I'm stuck, whether it's confidence, whether it's just in general, what how they describe is something's holding me back. And it's usually your mental conditioning. We all have habit patterns and loops that we keep behaving, whether it's a people pleasing tendency, whether it's not having boundaries, saying yes when you mean no, or just pushing too hard, just pushing, 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 because that's how you've learned how things are to be done. And that works to a point, but we all encounter burnout at some stage. It's not sustainable. And even if you do it over long term, there is a cost in your health, in your relationships, in your quality of your relationships. And that's kind of the people that I serve more now, who are on that trajectory where they're going to the next level, but they don't want to do things the old way anymore. And they want to really come into their own and find themselves.
Okay, fantastic. I would imagine that the skills you picked up in your career, your early career, would be helping you in this because you were in the advertising industry. Am I right?
Yes, so I did bring some of the skills there. So a lot of like, I mean, I'm quite confident with camera and speaking, and self-promotion. I have a good understanding of social media and overall, I have a good idea of all of that. And I also worked in project management, so I bring some of those project management skills as well. But having said that, I think business is a completely different beast. It's like becoming a parent. Before you become a parent, everyone just seems to have this rosy picture that, everything's going to be great. But actually, becoming a parent, especially if you don't have support around you, especially in the Western culture, where the village isn't involved, in
Yes.
helping you as a community, it's incredibly hard. So I would describe it like that. So for me, that was parenthood for me at the beginning. I thought it was
Mm.
going to be amazing, and then it was actually incredibly hard to deal with a lot of stuff on your own. And the
Yeah.
society, the structures aren't always supportive either. And so I found that part of business quite hard. And actually, that is one of the areas that the women I work with, I really help them with, because doing a business throws up all sorts of issues, confidence issues, right? Pricing issues. Can I actually do it? Doubting your capability, second guessing yourself. There's a lot of decision making involved. And then you have to self-promote yourself. And so when you go into business, that can trigger a lot of your old stuff or parts that you haven't quite resolved. And that was definitely the case with me. So I really had to work on adopting a business mindset, a growth mindset, and a different identity completely to the person I was as an employee. So there is a shift from employee mindset to a business and growth mindset.
Well, exactly. And I think a lot of new entrepreneurs don't realize that it's a complete change of personality almost if you when you become a business owner,
Yeah,
because now you're not depending on other people to tell you what to do.
yeah,
You have to motivate yourself. You have to be the chief cook and bottle washer. You
yeah,
have to create the product or service. You have to do the marketing. You have to do the admin, and you have to become a leader in a way that a lot of people don't realize.
yeah.
So it's good that you're there to actually assist people with that. And I would suggest that people contact you to even talk about that kind of transformation that's needed to grow their business. Otherwise, they'll be sitting there watching their business and the business will not be growing.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's so much about self-leadership, managing yourself, managing your emotions, managing the uncertainty that business brings, managing the highs and lows. So it's really, really important, because you're your asset, as you said. We have 17 hats. We are juggling everything. We're the marketing person, we're the admin, we're the corporate, all of that. So it's really, really important to actually manage yourself and your energy, because you're the best asset. And that this is where a lot of entrepreneurs really, really struggle, as you said, is that overwhelm, first of all, because there's so much to do.
Mm,
Second guessing themselves, doubting themselves and their capabilities, and really pushing really hard, trying lots of strategies, doing lots of things. And then many times, at least the people that I work with, what I hear is the results don't match the effort, and they just wish it could be easier.
mm,
And it can be easier. Um, when you have a business, you have to make the effort because it's not like a job where, like I said, someone's managing you and is giving you a paycheck. You have to manage yourself and you have to create, your finances. However, on the other hand, business requires you to be more flexible and more agile and more open and manage yourself, you like even to the other level. And so it's really, really important to understand that you are the biggest asset in your business. Yeah.
I think you made a really good um, statement there that sometimes you're told by business owners the results don't match the effort.
Correct.
That is huge. That really is huge. I mean, let's explore that a little bit. I mean, what types of efforts are people putting in and find that the results are disappointing? Give me
Yeah.
examples.
Yeah, so for the first one, very obvious one is naturally people invest in courses to learn and invest in masterminds to learn business. In mastermind, there's webinars, workshops, and trying different strategies. So you see other people doing strategies and you want to try, okay, let's try this strategy, that strategy. And what happens is you are unique to your business. You have your own product or service, and you're very individual, right, in your thinking and how you deliver and execute and manage your run busy business as well. And so what happens is this it's two parts why results don't match the effort. First of all, you've got all these strategies and you're looking at everyone and you're working really, really hard. So the first thing that's happening is that there is an underlying belief that I have to work really, really hard. And somehow, if I'm not burning out, then I'm not doing enough. So that's the one thing, okay? And second thing is, and this I see more in women, is that when you see others doing strategies and let's say it's working for them and you're like, okay, this will work for me, you're actually overriding your own instinct and your own intuition, which is really important for your decision making. So we are basically looking at the outside world to inform us what we should do. And really, for me and for some of my clients, the biggest shift has actually come from not following a blanket template of a strategy, but actually to feel into yourself what feels aligned to me. What is my instinct telling me is right for me? And that's why when you're misaligned, first of all, you're misaligned with your strategies and you're just pushing, pushing, pushing because that's the only way you know, then that's where you're pushing really hard, but your results are not matching the effort. There are
Mm.
other saboteurs that I talk about in my work as well, but I think these are the reasons why results don't match the effort. And there's another deeper layer to it, which is the layer that I actually work on with my clients, which is the underlying subconscious beliefs. So I mentioned mental conditioning earlier. So we're all a product of our environment, wherever you grew up. We absorb beliefs and values from our parents or our carers first, and then from school, and then from society, and then from culture. And they go very deep into our subconscious. I'm just going to explain this briefly because it's important to understand this. So as a child, you don't really have logic. You're just absorbing your surroundings. And so if you grew up in a household where money was tight and your mother and father were constantly talking about, or we can't afford this or we can't afford that, or you saw them working really, really long hours, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, the child is unconsciously forming beliefs that A, money is scarce, And B, I have to work really, really hard for money. And sometimes what happens is, and this is really, really bizarre, is that sometimes people get things easy and actually they're not able to handle that, and they make things more complicated because it has to feel hard. If it's too easy, they didn't work hard enough for it. And so when we grow up with these beliefs, they actually start to show up in our business, especially in our business. We start to get triggered when we have to pitch for our services, when we have to ask for our prices, when we have to work out our pricing strategy, when we have to make investment decisions about our business. And so my work is focused more on uncovering these limiting beliefs that we've been mentally conditioned through our environment and society since we were very young, but then now they're playing out in different ways. And that's another hidden reason why people's results don't match their efforts that most people are not even aware of. And that's the journey that I've made is I wasn't I didn't know unconsciously things I was doing that was creating not the result that I wanted in my life.
Mm. Wow, that's fascinating. Can I ask, do you have a coach or mentor yourself?
I do. So I have a mindset mentor. I've been in the mentorship with her for 2 years now. I'm in my second year. And
Mm.
I also have, I'm like in a coaching container. It's business coaching where I get coached on sales and on my content and marketing. And so I do have support. It's absolutely essential to kind of have someone to coach you.
Mm.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
as you're doing stuff on your own, there's lots of decisions to make. And when you have a coach, I think that what they offer you, first of all, is objectivity. They are not in the situation with you, so they can look from the outside and advise you. They bring their own set of expertise. So if it's a business coach, they will bring their business expertise. If it's a mindset coach or a life coach like me, where I cover lots of areas around that, we'll bring our expertise, and so you don't have to repeat the mistakes that some have been already been made, or identifying your blockers, identifying your blind spots, because that's the benefit that I get from my coaching is that I see things from a different perspective that I'm missing, that I'm not seeing. And actually, that really fast tracks my journey rather than learning through trial and error. And so it's
Mm.
really, really crucial. And sounding board, your confidante, and just someone who keeps you accountable. Accountability is really, really important as a, business owner. We know that, if you join a gym with your friend, it's just more easier, it's more fun, it's more motivating. And it's one of those things in my mind, is a non-negotiable. I do practice what I preach. I have invested in coaches in the last 3 years. I've had a coach. I have had different coaches, and sometimes, it's about the right fit as well. And when you're in a different stage of your business, you need different coaches to help you. So absolutely, I would highly recommend getting one as well.
Okay. What is your ultimate dream? Dare to dream at this point in terms of the amount of people you want to reach, how you want to reach them, the effect you want to have, what communities in particular you think could do with your help. Tell me.
So this is a really great question because I asked myself this question a couple of years ago when I was writing my mission statement and my vision for the business. And at first, I was not clear. I was like, I just want to help people who feel stuck like me. Like I was this girl from India who, didn't really know what she was doing in her life. And despite having success, she was still unhappy and unfulfilled. And if I can create my life, then I just want to help other people with that. That was what I started with. But then it just came to me that I want to change 10,000 lives.
Oh, really?
I want to change 10,000 lives. And I was like, okay, I just got a number from the air. I will, I will, it's like I've received this information. That's what I want to do. So that's kind of what I want to do. And as I said, I focus on inner freedom, on personal freedom, on self leadership. It's very much about coming home to who you really are. We live in a world where we are surrounded by a lot of information. There's information overload from every direction. And there is a huge, not epidemic, but this undercurrent of disconnection from self that is happening across the board, across everything. And because of this disconnection to self and lack of leadership and role models around us, there's much less role models and leadership around us than we had in the past. It's really important to self lead, but to self lead, you have to know who you are. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Where you come from, where you're going. And one of the best journeys you'll ever make is the journey to self-discovery, because that's going to become your superpower. When you understand, okay, that's the reason I don't feel so confident. That's the reason I'm doubting myself. That's the reason I'm in a pitch and I'm not saying the number and my voice is wavering as I say my number. When you understand that, your business and your life can change massively. So for
Mm.
me, it's about giving people that inner freedom, self leadership, so they can, instead of thinking from the outside in, we start thinking from the inside out. Because I believe that we need trailblazers in the world. We don't need more people who think the same. We need people who do things differently, especially in business. Um, Sustainability, how we can be more sustainable, how we can add to the community with AI here to help us and to support us, how we can use AI and actually have more free time for us so we can pour that time back into humanity, into, those humanity-led projects. So the big vision is to reach 10,000 lives, to give people that personal freedom, emotional freedom, so they can just go and do whatever it is that they want to achieve in the life and world and the impact they need to make without those barriers, inner barriers holding us back, like confidence, being visible, fearing, being judged and being criticized and all of that. And I'm just going to add really quickly here an example. So I've been giving this example in my coaching, and I also share it with others, which is think about the Wright brothers. They had a dream. They wanted people to fly. They wanted to build a plane. But we all know that when they said out loud, people thought that they were mad, that it was impossible, but they continued to believe in that dream. It didn't matter if the whole world said that they are mad. They continued with their efforts. They knew they could make it happen. And I think the first flight was only for a few seconds, but instead of thinking, oh, it only flew for a few seconds, they were like, wow, it can happen. And so if you have a bold idea or a dream and you have an impact led business or a purpose led business, or maybe you're in a corporate career, I don't really know where you are in your journey right now. I want these people to follow through because this is very much needed. If Wright brothers didn't do what they did, we wouldn't be flying in aeroplanes. And now flying in an aeroplane is normal. We don't even
That's right.
question it. But I don't see it as anything short of a miracle that we can just, sit in a plane and be transported to a completely different world in a matter of a few hours. And so if you've got a business idea or if there's a change you want to make in corporate, organization, then don't be held back because you have limiting beliefs around it. Oh, can I do it? Will anyone listen to me? What will others think of me when I do that? What will others think of me when I ask for $1 million? No, don't think about that. These things should not stop us. We should really be able to go after our dreams because that's what this world needs. And that's kind of, a long-winded way of, my mission. But yeah, I want to change lives and 10,000 lives and build those communities. Yeah.
Okay. Do you mind me asking how many of the 10,000 have you reached yet?
Well, I'm in my hundreds at the moment.
Oh,
So I started, well, I retrained 3 years ago. So at the moment, I can say that I have 250 plus lives changed.
oh,
But, I'm on, thank you very much. And I'm on that journey to increase my reach. It's a learning. If anyone who's been in business, or even in corporate, sometimes you need a couple of jobs to know which one you actually really like and what you're doing. And so, in my line of work, because I do rapid transmissional therapy and I do hypnotherapy and I do coaching as well, I didn't want to just solve surface level problems like stress release and burnout, but actually work on your identity level change. So, changing from the inside out, becoming the CEO of your life and your business, both. So, now
mhm.
what I focus on is identity level change. It means that, there was a version of me for her living in India in an arranged marriage was her life. But then there was another version of her that craved independence, that she's this successful person, running a business or doing something like that. So that girl in that position was not able to achieve that goal because she was living from a different identity. So I've had to rework my complete identity to be who I am today. And so that is what is required for people, is that if you want to truly be a CEO of your business or your life or your career, then you really have to work on that identity. And your identity level change will come from knowing who you are, where you're struggling, what's holding you back, and going really, really deep into it.
Okay, fantastic. So, if there are people who are now, having heard you, are inspired to become coaches, or perhaps this had been something in their minds for a little while, what would you say? How would you encourage them?
So I would definitely say that follow your inner voice, because your inner voice is your instinct and it's right. If you have that feeling inside you, that burning desire inside you that, I want to be a coach, then I would highly, highly recommend that you take your next step. Personal story, and I'm sure we've heard it from others as well. It took me 3 years, and I was looking for something else to do after becoming a mum, but I wasn't sure what it was. That was a bit before as well. And it was when I came across personal development that I knew that, this is what I want to do. I was kind of circling around wellness and something around that. And I remember I had volunteered during my student days, and there was a lady, she said that, you're very good at motivating others. You should be a coach. And I think she had planted that seed in me. And so it took me some time, but then when I did it, I was so happy because the work is incredibly rewarding. So
Oh,
take micro steps, don't overthink it. If you have that desire, then start doing research, look at accreditations, look at what type of coaching modalities fit with you. And again, don't look at others, what works for them, but always ask yourself what feels good to me. Because for me, rapid transmissional therapy was my life-changing moment. That is my magic bullet. That is what I use in my work, which gives instant and very quick transformations to my clients. But yeah, so do that. And the second thing I will say is, I'm preempting this question because this is a question I get asked, and I had this question as well. If you're someone who's transitioning from a corporate career or, another career into business, you will be faced with two decisions. One is either to step down from your position and to start from scratch, knowing that there's no paycheck coming in, or
hmm.
build it on the side. Okay. And I get this question asked, should I build it on the side or should I do it? Again, always follow your instinct. But this is what I'm going to leave you with. If you can handle the pressure, financial pressure of not having money coming in regularly, and you don't have any savings or investments that will support you, because business, is not built overnight. It takes time to grow your client base. There will be a lot of investment at the beginning as well for your coaching, training, certification, and a lot of that, and setting up the foundations of your business. So that will be there. So if you can handle that pressure, then by all means go for it. Step down from your job or your role and then go into it straight away. But knowing that it will be challenging and knowing that you have the skills and the resources and the mindset to go through that pressure. But if not, then I would say start on the side. That's what I did. I had a bit of a mix of it. I started on the side and then I was contracting as well. I was freelancing, so I had a bit more flexibility. So for some time I didn't work and then I supported myself with contracts as well. So there was some income coming in. So yeah, there are a couple of ways of doing it. So I just wanted to leave that with you. So if you want to do coaching, go for it. Don't overthink it. Start making small baby steps because these baby steps they compound over time. Even if it means, okay, that's the modality I want to train in, that's the training certification I want, or just researching what the name of your business might be, small steps, but keep taking those steps, and then you will come across this decision whether, oh, how will I manage? I have a job, and how do I do my business? So yeah, those are the things that you will definitely need in your toolbox.
Okay, fantastic. Now, you've mentioned this term quite a few times, and I've got to admit, on this interview is the first time I've heard the term rapid transformational therapy. What on earth
Yes.
is that? Sounds
Okay.
like an overnight change, but let's go a bit deeper.
Okay, great. Rapid transmissional therapy is it's a combination of cognitive behavioral therapy, which is CBT, neuro-linguistic programming, which is NLP, psychotherapy, and hypnotherapy.
Oh,
So,
wow.
my teacher, Marisa Peer, she's the creator of the method, who I've trained with. And she has combined all of these therapy methods into one. And basically, what she did is she took the best of many worlds and put it into one. And the result of that is that it's much more quicker compared to traditional therapy methods out there. So, for example, if you do talk therapy, let's say, it usually takes monthly sessions and then you do it for a few months and years. And the emphasis is always on analyzing your past. So we always are backward facing. We're always looking and analyzing what happened in my childhood, what did I do, what did go wrong. And it is helpful. It is not, I'm not going to dismiss it. It is helpful for some people. And I have most of my clients come from therapy and coaching backgrounds, as in they've had therapy or coaching in the past and something hasn't worked for them and they're still struggling. And that's why they've come to me to try something new and see if that works. So that takes a lot of time and money as well. Over time, it stacks up. Compared to that, rapid transformational therapy is more forward paced, more future paced, forward thinking than analyzing the past. So in rapid transformation sessions, we definitely revisit the root cause of where the blind spot or the block is coming from. Typically for it would show up like this. I need to make content for social media, but I'm not recording it. My business needs it. I need to put money behind paid. I need to do all of that, and I'm not doing it. So it shows up like that. Visibility. I want to write a book, but I'm not writing it. I keep putting it off. But I know that
It's
if I
going to
write a
happen
book,
by magic, surely.
yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, so to build authority in this. So this is how it kind of shows up. Or, not asking for the right money in your business as well. That's how it shows up. So so this is how it's showing up. And with rapid transmissional therapy, we would go to the root cause of why it's happening. So we go to all the underlying beliefs in one session. And it's based in neuroplasticity as well, which is we are laying new neural pathways and new brain connections in your mind in the same session. So we go to the root cause, we interrupt your old thinking and old patterns, we implant new suggestions, new beliefs using hypnosis, using, we call it embedded commands, new beliefs and that way when we combine all these methods in one session the shift is very palpable. So the shift is immediate. People change in different ways, but 95%, 98% I can say of my clients report feeling a shift straight away. And it's a
Wow.
positive shift, yes. And then after this, I coach people to then forward pace, meaning I know where I was going wrong. I know what was holding me back. Understand myself now. I understand my patterns. It's all about patterns because we're habitual. We are creatures of habit. We brush our teeth, we go to bed, we just sleep on the same side of the bed. We sit on the same desk in the chair, etc., etc. So we are habitual, and so we've acquired these habits over time. And so it's very much about breaking these patterns, because the patterns that which I mentioned before, a child who has absorbed that, okay, I must work hard for my business, is now showing up in the business working 60 hours a week and is burning out. So this is a
Oh,
pattern. So we have to unbreak that pattern. So with rapid transformational therapy, that's why it's rapid instead of weeks and months. Changes happen
yeah.
session to session. So every rapid transformation session, you feel a shift. And then I use coaching to work on your next level identity. So let's say old identity is I need to work 60 hours. Like I need to check my emails every 10 seconds. I don't know what my kid is eating tonight. I don't know, but I need to do this. From going to from there to going to, you know what? My business is fine. I'm fine. If I take an hour for myself for a walk, nothing's going to happen. I can delegate. I feel comfortable delegating and not feeling guilt, especially women, of always having mum guilt or business guilt or that guilt, being free of that. Um, Now, there's no such thing as like being 100% free, but it's managing yourself, it's dialoguing yourself. So, because we're humans, right? We always will feel, I still sometimes will feel guilt over something, right? But I will talk myself out of it much more quickly, and I'll be more self aware, and I won't let that thought affect my behavior and go into a downward spiraling pattern. So that's the difference. So if before rapid transformation therapy, you were someone who came to me for stress and burnout, and oh my God, I'm doing everything in my business and nothing's working. I don't know what's wrong. We will go to that root cause. We'll find out. And the root cause might be, well, you have a belief that you must burn yourself to the ground, or whatever. And then we disrupt that belief and we create a new empowering belief that I deserve rest. I can still create a healthy business while creating pockets of rest in my business. Yes, my business is demanding, but I don't have to do things this way. I just need to restructure my day so I can have quality time for myself, quality time for my kids, and perhaps I need to make an investment to hire someone so they can share my workload and do and help me in my business, because a lot of business people, they try to do everything themselves because they're trying to save money or whatever, but sometimes it's counterintuitive, it's counterproductive. So that's the kind of change you can imagine. So you start to build a business and life on your terms.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That sounds brilliant. Well done. Well done. Well, I hope that this inspires people who listen to you, either to talk to you or have a consultation, or maybe even talk to you about doing what you do. You never know. You might have or maybe you do have already a group of people whom you're training to be coaches. I think it's a really valuable service. So thank you very much for what you do. And on behalf of those people whose lives you are affecting, well done. And
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much. Thank you.
And
And
keep up the
yes,
great work.
thank you. Thank you so much. I'm on that onward journey. So, yeah, if anyone wants to email me or follow me on LinkedIn, please do let me know. Don't worry, I can share my details, or wants to book a consult with me. I do offer complimentary consultation calls, just to get to know you, get to know what you might be struggling with, and to see if rapid transformational therapy and my coaching is the right answer. And if anything, it's always nice to talk to someone about your problems, because at best you get a different perspective. So don't hold yourself back from having a conversation. Conversations and connections are really important.
Well, thank you very much for that. So yeah, we will put your details under the video. How people can contact you, whether it's via LinkedIn or via your website, via email. I hope that people will take the opportunity to improve their lives and move up the ladder. I mean, that's something that we're all aiming to do. We want to be better than last week, than last month. We want to be more effective in what we do, whether it's as a business person or even as a professional or as a family person, as a mum who needs a listening ear and ideas as to how to improve their home life. And men could also benefit from this as well, because you come in
Absolutely.
with a
I've had male clients, and they have similar challenges.
absolutely, and then they're kind of conditioned in a way to sort of be a man and don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they can talk to you. Thank you so much for your time. It was a real pleasure speaking to you, and let's keep in touch.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Take care.